of talking, top rope walking, ultimate Xing, serious flexing, never be vague with your boy Craig, and opinion mixing from Pete to Nixon, keep doing things in an impactful way, bloody nonsense as the Brits say, talking bloody nonsense.
Yes, it's me, it's the M.I.C. Craig, aka Mr. Impact, back once again, talking bloody nonsense right here on the TNA IW channel. Joined as always by the one and only Peter Nixon. It's a new week, it's a new Impact, but first things first, Nixon, how's it going?
Yeah, are you feeling all right, Craig?
Yeah, as I said off camera, I just had a wrestling show on Saturday in PW in Stratford, and shouted a bit too much at the heels, a bit too much at the referee for letting the heels get away with it, and it's just yeah, sore throat. Couldn't talk yesterday, but good to go today, just about.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get through this next hour, and then you can rest your voice a bit.
Yeah, it's a good fun time. Definitely going to go back to PW. Like
or indie wrestling.
Yeah, it was a very small venue, about maybe 50 people there, but probably one of the loudest crowds I've been a part of for a while. It was
nice.
Great. And for those who saw my Twitter, I did indeed do a vlog of the show. We'll get a little insight of my day leading up to the show. And at the show, you'll see you'll see all the entrances from each wrestler on the show. Quite a few, but no more than 20 minutes. Fun time. So when that comes out, I'll let everyone know. But I guess we should get onto the Impact stuff, because I mean, in a week there seems to be quite a lot of Impact news going on.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about today, haven't we?
Woohoo! Finally. So yeah, let's get straight into it with our main headline. We have excuse me. Just clear my throat and then we'll go. Let's go. There we go. Okay, it's not COVID I tested. The main headline this week: W.Morrissey and Jay White are no longer part of Impact. In particular, W.Morrissey, who wrapped up on last week's Impact, and Jay White didn't specify it was done, but his time for now is done with Impact. But also, JONAH, in a recent interview, revealed that he's not done with Impact yet. So, first of all, we're going to take on W.Morrissey leaving. Obviously, we knew his contract was up at Hard to Kill, I believe, but sticked around for a little bit longer than most people expected. But that and Jay White being done, but obviously in the recent news about Ace Austin, which we'll get into in this first subheading. What's your feelings on it? Do you think that Jay White is done and Morrissey are done, or do you think the door is still open for them?
I think the door is 100% still open for both of them. Jay White obviously has the New Japan connection, so he could realistically come in, come and go as he pleases, and the Impact would be foolish to pass him up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he'll pop up, especially with more and more Bullet Club members on the Impact roster. I'm sure we'll get round to that.
Oh yes, that's coming for sure.
As far as Morrissey goes, I know his contract wrapped up. I think it was just before Rebellion, wasn't it? In April, or was it before then?
It probably was Rebellion. I'm just thinking. I was trying to remember what last pay-per-view was, and it was Rebellion. So yeah.
So since then, he appeared on Dynamite, billed as an Impact Wrestling star when he was no longer under contract for them. So he obviously has a bit of loyalty to the brand and pride about, he really fell from grace, didn't he, when he left WWE, got released, and he had some real issues. I know he had a fit at the ECW arena through alcohol.
A hardcore event. Yeah.
So the fact that he bounced back, no one would book him for a while. Then he started appearing on Lariato Pro, Doc Gallows promotion. Yeah. He was, he obviously had a good showing there, and Doc Gallows put in a good word for him at Impact, and he came in. People weren't massively hyped straight away, but he really proved himself. And when he did that passionate promo at the ECW arena, people were really on his side. And then he's since then he sort of bounced around with different tag partners: Jordan Grace, Bhupinder Gujjar, and most recently PCO. So he's sort of been floating with no real direction. But who's to say, a lot of Impact stars are working on sort of handshake deals, aren't they? Not signed. They're free agents that are coming in as and when. So I don't think Morrissey is done. I think he'll still pop up now and then. And again, Scott D'Amore would be foolish to turn him down, because he's gone over again in Impact.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when Morrissey first came in, like, some people were still unsure, which, understandably at that point. I think at that point had been maybe a year sober, I think, around that point. So, and this is his first major TV company appearance since his release from WWE, which, I mean, when he was released, he was one of the very few not to be future endeavored. He didn't say, "We wish you well in future endeavors." That didn't happen for him, which only happened in rare occasions. So the fact that happened, and then, all the unfortunate stuff that happened after that with Joe Janela, and obviously at the ECW Arena, House of Hardcore event, all really, really unfortunate. But then, he got a huge road to redemption to come to Impact and debut in a match with, at that time, one of Impact's biggest new factions in Violent by Design.
Yeah.
Then to go on to become a huge babyface, a really over babyface, which first came in, no one really thought he'd be able to do. He pulled it off really well, and it wasn't forced. It became really natural.
It was organic.
Yeah. During his feud with Moose, it happened really well for him, and he got over huge. And some people were expecting him, or thought he could have won the world title at some point.
Yeah.
It's very, very believable. I don't say it's not a massive loss to Impact in the sense of losing a big star, but losing. See, we don't know if Impact have lost him permanently, but Impact do well when it comes to big guys. Like, the history of big men is great. You can go back to Abyss, you can go back to whoever. Even Matt Morgan, for all his faults, got treated well as a big man with Impact. So
there's another big man. Sorry.
No, we could go on forever listening, because they have had some of the very best in the business. But to see him go is a little bit, I want to say sad, because that's not the right word. It's not actually disappointing. I can't put it into words, but when he came to Impact, he was still on his recovery, and still is on recovery. But he's such a big part of Impact, and has put the company over massively in his time. I mean, even when his contract was up, like, he said that Impact's the best. His time at Impact's been one of the best times in his career.
Yeah, definitely. He's having the best matches of his career in Impact.
Yeah.
I did read, I think it was on Fightful, that when he rocked up on Dynamite, there were texts going around within WWE backstage crew. Have you seen this effing guy? So maybe he's betting on himself, talked about Morrissey, seeing, where he can go, outside of Impact. I mean, I'm sure he'll always credit Impact for putting him back on the map. But yeah, who's to say he won't rock up on Raw next week?
And that's the thing. I agree. I think he is now. He's betting on himself. And if he does go back to WWE, I hope it all goes well. I really do, because he's proven himself. He got away from Big Cass, and hopefully he doesn't fall back into that Big Cass character again.
Do you know why he won't fall into the Big Cass category again? No Enzo. He doesn't have to play second fiddle to Enzo anymore. He's his own man.
Yeah, that's a really good point. If he shows up, I mean, if I'm pretty confident there's offers everywhere for him.
Yeah,
there must be, because he's done such a great job of building himself back up and Impact obviously played a major part in it by giving him the opportunity to be able to prove himself once again. So, unfortunately, he's gone for now. Anyway, it's not goodbye. It's see down the road.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the same with Jay White. There's all, especially now, he'll pop back up again. There's no doubt in my mind. Jay White will pop up again in Impact. Maybe not in the next few months, but certainly in the next few years. There's no doubt Jay White will be back on Impact, especially now Bullet Club has such a big part in Impact. Before we move on to the Bullet Club news, in the same category as Morrissey and Jay White, JONAH is saying he's not done with Impact yet, which is another good sign, because I know he's concentrating on New Japan, but in America and for pretty much the rest of the world, because New Japan isn't as widely available to the rest of the world as Impact is, or AEW is. But the fact that he says he's not done yet, that's a big deal, because Impact are well known for their pay per appearance deals. It's kind of been a thing for years.
Yeah.
Or Impact work well with other companies. They always have. Yes, there was obviously that major fuck up with New Japan a few years ago, but that's all in the past now. So the fact that he's saying he's not done with Impact proves that Impact couldn't be further away from where TNA was, because people want to come back after time is up.
Yeah.
I just think it's a huge step, and anytime we get JONAH back in Impact, I'm all for, because he was great.
Exactly. He had a great run. Only 6 months or so, but he did some fantastic stuff. I'll never, for the life of me, forget that PCO match at Sacrifice. Probably my favourite match of the year so far.
Yeah, I wonder why. It was great. JONAH is phenomenal, and I'm glad he wants to come back, because every Impact fan wants to see him back. And Impact aren't paying his wages full time; they're only paying when he shows up. So Impact saves a lot of money, but they also get decent talent.
Yeah,
the win for both. Now we'll go on over to our first hub heading, and it's a big one. I didn't see this news until Saturday after it happened on the Friday, because I was away, and I went on Twitter. Twitter's going crazy, and turns out it's because Ace Austin has joined Bullet Club. Ace Austin, the inevitable one, is in Bullet Club. So, what's your, obviously it's only a great thing. What's your take on it when you first found out? And especially, I think yesterday Chris Bey sent out a tweet saying that he hasn't been on TV in a while. Now Ace Austin's in Bullet Club. I think there's something going on there, or people reading too much into that tweet. What's your take on Ace and Bey and this whole Bullet Club situation?
I found out Ace joined Bullet Club when he put out a tweet saying, "Gonna go and too sweet my homie Chris Bey." And I thought, what's happened here? And then, looking at it, Ace Austin joined Bullet Club. I don't know if he's a great fit for Bullet Club. I'll put it out there. I'm sure he will do well in the Bullet Club faction, but I don't know. It caught me a bit by surprise, considering they've already got Chris Bey, they've already got Juice Robinson, the Good Brothers, Jay White. You know, I don't know if they need Ace Austin, but they've obviously, you know, thought about it. They haven't made this decision lightly. They've obviously got plans for Ace, so yeah, I mean it's cool. It's really big news. As far as Chris Bey putting out that tweet about having not been on TV for a while, I think that was just a dig. Honestly, I don't think that was storyline related or, you know, setting something up for the future. I think it was just a dig. Because I feel for Chris Bey, because whenever he is on TV, he loses, and he deserves better. Honestly, you know, we're pro wrestling and specifically pro Impact Wrestling, but you know, I'll say it when you know, when I don't agree with something, Chris Bey should not be losing as much as he does, because he's a great talent. If it was a real fight, he'd probably win every match, and you're doing him a disservice, and you're turning. If he's putting out tweets like that, you know he's pissed off about something. And so if you piss the guy off, you stand to lose him, and you can't be losing Chris Bey. He's too big of a talent. He's too important right now to the Impact brand. We'll see where it goes. I might have been totally worked, and I hope that's the case. Yeah. How do you feel about it, Craig?
In terms of Chris Bey, it's difficult because obviously Bullet Club can't win all the time, and when they're on Impact, like, who gets pinned? Especially when it's the team of, for instance, go ELP, Jay White, Chris Bey, and Hikuleo. Who gets pinned in that group? You can make the case for Hikuleo.
I would job Hikuleo out every time.
Let's go with Go Brothers, Jay White and Bey.
It has to be Bey, doesn't it?
It's like
he's the Cody Deaner of the group.
Yeah, but I would argue it hurts Bey a lot more than it hurts Deaner.
Exactly.
Chris Bey, when he was brought in as the future of the company, the star, the X Division star. When you won the X Division title so quick, and when he first got there, obviously he'd been around a bit leading up to that a few times. I think just before Homecoming back in 2019, he had a match in Vegas against Jake Crist for a qualifier match for the Ultimate X at Homecoming, which kind of thought he'd win that one, but then you realise when they're not signed, but they want to sign them, they don't win.
Yeah.
So, but you can see that was it. And then his match on it was Explosion still against Luchasaurus. Got him over huge for the Impact fan base. But now he's been off TV for quite some time, which is puzzling considering you've got this Ultimate X. You'd thought Chris Bey would have a spot in it. Obviously, he has competed in that multiverse of matches, but it seems like Chris Bey would have had a spot in his match. Apparently not. So it's difficult. But as far as Ace and the Bullet Club goes, I'm all for it. Ace Austin, he is that arrogant heel that suits the Bullet Club. He is that guy you love to hate. I really, Bullet Club is the cool thing. Like, they're heels, but no one sees them as that. They want to be like them. That's Ace Austin. He's X Division champion. You know, current the first ever current reigning Impact champion to be in Bullet Club, be inducted in, not be original member.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got the tag team champions and you've got AJ Styles, but as in current X Division champion is the first.
Yeah.
And I do think he's a good fit. Obviously, only time will tell. And I believe he's got a match at Dominion. It's a 6-man tag at Dominion with ELP and Ishimori. I think against the United Empire. I think I need to double check on that, but I think it's against the United Empire. Jeff Cobb and Aussie Open, I think.
Okay. Oh, that'd be good.
I may have misread the opponents, but I know that's who they turned on, or who Ace joined the book club against. It was Jeff Cobb and a Great O'Khan and someone else, I think, from the United Empire. But I'm all for it. I think Ace is a credible talent, and
yeah, that's not in question. But who fits Bullet Club more, Chris Bey or Ace Austin?
If we go on those two alone, Chris Bey.
Yeah, exactly. So why does Ace need to be in Bullet Club? Tell me this, Craig.
It's a good point. No, it is. I get where you're coming from, because as a fan and not as a fan who is trying to notice stuff. Just like I'm not trying to ask this, ask that. As a fan, just enjoying the product. I think Ace is a great fit. You do really well in Bullet Club.
Yeah, I'm sure he will, but I think he can stand alone. I don't think he needs to be in a faction.
No, I get that. He's done such a great job of. I mean, he's basically done this on his own. Was to rise to the extra by himself. Yeah, he had fought on Jordan for a little bit, but besides that, he got noticed by Impact based on his talent, and then came to Impact, won the X Division Championship, competed for the World Championship, nearly won the tag team titles, back to the X Division. I think it was in the X Division for half of the year. No, the first 2 months of the year, and won X Division Star of the Year.
Yeah.
So no, I get that completely. Ace, but I think in terms of his character, I think he'll do really well in Bullet Club.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah. But no, I do see where you're coming from, that he doesn't necessarily need Bullet Club, but being part of Bullet Club can only be a plus. Merch will fly off the shelves. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Big thing for his wrestling CV.
Yeah.
Member of
and
Bullet Club.
Exactly. And on top of that, it helps Impact as well.
Yeah.
He's the champion, and he's part of the biggest faction in the world today.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I can't wait to see the first lot of Bullet Club Ace Austin shirts. I would, because the Finesse Club was an awesome shirt. So I'm interested to see the Ace Austin Bullet Club shirt.
I think probably Inevitable Club. Or was that too wordy?
It doesn't quite roll off the tongue, does it?
No, because it can't use the Ace because
Tallahassee.
Yes, and I think who else used Ace? I think another member of the Bullet Club uses Ace as well. And then in their name, I think maybe Chase Owens. Maybe I'm thinking that.
Okay.
I think Chase Owens has something like that. So it'd be difficult, and Austin Club isn't going to go down very well. So it'd be interesting to see how. But I think it will more likely be Inevitable Club, which I know is not going to be great. But hey, but I want the Ace Austin Bullet Club card.
Oh yeah,
they're great. I want that. Yeah, thought they were fucking great. And in Japan, I mean, it's already doing well for him in Japan because some bar in Japan named a drink after him.
I saw that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's already. I mean, the online reaction to Ace Austin, the best of Super Juniors, has been so fucking good. People in Japan have loved him.
Yeah.
And it's gotten fans in New Japan who live in Japan asking where they can see Impact. And that is fucking great. So I'm all for it. I think it'd be interesting to see where Ace and Bey go. as part of Impact in Bullet Club.
Hmm.
They were feuding only a few months ago.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing it because it's going to be so good. And Ace's first time back in Impact. It's part of Bullet Club in the Ultimate X, and that is great. I can't wait. I hope they're going to do something with his music like they did with Bey's.
Yeah.
Entrance theme, because I'm all for it. I think Ace will do well. House Impact, Bullet Club are on fire at the minute. I mean, Jay White potentially going to become the IWGP World Champion. Carl Anderson's going to potentially become the never openweight champion.
Yeah.
Juice is already the United States champion. You got Balak Fale and Chase Owens as the heavyweight tag team champions, and Ishimori as the junior heavyweight champion. Ace Austin's X Division champion. What's not to like about that? Like, Bullet Club are back and they're on fire.
Yeah, they haven't been as significant since the Elite. Since Cody and Kenny.
The Elite really hurt them by leaving, but now they're back. They found their identity again, and a lot of that was helped by Impact. I think Impact helped a lot when it comes to that with the stars they've brought in for Bullet Club. Yeah, works both ways for both of them, and can't wait to see what happens, especially with Bey and Ace, because that's super intriguing, and at least it'll give Bey a way back onto TV. So I'm all for that. Now let's take it to our second subheading, which of course is the preview. We're going to take a look at last week's Impact. Before we do that, let's take a little walk over onto the power rankings. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know. If you want to be part of the rankings committee, hit one of us up from the channel. We'll add you in, and just take it over to the power rankings.
Number 10, Moose. Number 9, World Champion Tasha Steelz. Number 8, DMC Rich Swann. Number 7, Tag Team Champions The Briscoes. Number 6, Mia Yim. Number 5, X Division Champion Ace Austin. Number 4, Sami Callihan. Number 3, Steve Macklin. Number 2, World Champion Josh Alexander. And you, number 1, Honor No More.
And we're back. So now it's time for the review of the part of the pre-review, whatever it is at the minute. Started off with knockouts action. Well, first we had Alicia defeating Renee Michelle on BTI. And Marsha Slamovich came out, handed an envelope to Alicia, found out what that was backstage. And it basically means Marsha's targeting Lish next, which should be interesting. But on Impact itself, we opened up with knockouts action between Mia Yim, who defeated Savannah Evans. We then had Kenny King retain his place in the Ultimate X by defeating Blake Christian. Then it was announced the next competitor in the Ultimate X is former AEW, now free agent, Jack Evans. I nearly forgot his name. I had it down in front of me. I nearly forgot his name. Jack Evans. Yes, Jack Evans. And I was thinking Angelico, but no, Jack Evans. Then we had the new digital media champion of Rich Swann defeating Matthew Raywald. We then revealed that Marsha Slamovich is now challenging Alicia. We had a little face-to-face, little back and forth between the Good Brothers and the Briscoes. Then in tag team action, OGK, Honor No More, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett defeated Heath and Rhino before Honor No More took out Rhino with a steel chair shot to the leg, or the steel chair shot, trap, whatever it was, to the leg. Then at the ambulance, as Rhino had been taken away, Frankie Kazarian, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley Scott D'Amore. Scott saying you can have the rest of Honor No More apart from Kenny King at Slammiversary, but it's uneven. Go out and find 2 partners, but they have to have been in Impact. And I'm super excited to find out who it is. Then in the main event, had Moose and Macklin defeating W.Morrissey and PCO, with Morrissey putting Macklin over on his way out, which it has to be done. So it's full respect to him. But yeah, what did you most enjoy about this show? Because it was very stacked again.
I enjoyed the main event, the tag match. That was really cool. The standard PCO action, just wild diving brawls, missing moonsaults. All the stuff I love about PCO. I thought Swan and Ray Walt had a good one. Interested to see the Masha Alicia fight.
Yes.
It's going to be a squash. Probably shorter than the Havoc match.
Exactly what I said when I first saw it.
I liked Heath and Rhino against OGK. And I liked the fact that they took out Rhino, leading to the 5-on-5 Slammiversary. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. We can speculate all day long about who the final 2 participants are going to be. I was chatting to Alec Burnett, the DOA Booker man, and he has suggested Christopher Daniels and James Storm. And I honestly can't think of 2 better candidates.
No, I'm here for that.
Yeah, if it's those 2 that are chosen, absolutely fantastic. That's probably the match I'm most looking forward to at Slammiversary.
Yeah, I'm here for that. But do you want the partners to be revealed before Slammiversary, or do you want to go to Slammiversary and be surprised?
I think it would benefit Impact to reveal them beforehand, because last time they left it up to a surprise at Rebellion, it was underwhelming, and in fact, it wasn't even a surprise. So yeah, I would prefer them to be revealed, honestly.
Yeah,
unless you've got something fucking huge in your back pocket, like AJ Styles or something, which they don't, which they won't do.
Nah, but maybe it could be someone from WWE, not necessarily AJ Styles, but there's always Pete Williams. Surely something could happen there with Pete Williams for the night.
But I think that would be underwhelming.
Yeah?
Yeah, because he was only in Impact like a year ago.
That's a fair point. But also there's as well the Monster Abyss, which would be great.
That would be very, very cool.
Yeah.
And if they've got Kazarian already, then there's always a chance of getting someone on the AEW roster like Samoa Joe. That would be a really cool surprise.
Honestly, I think I have no idea, but I can only hope. I would assume Daniels is an 85% possibility. It's got to be a pretty high chance it could be Daniels, but there's no guarantee of anything. So, but it could go on and on about who it could be. I know who I don't want it to be.
Shark Boy.
I see. Didn't even have to say it. I know that's exactly who I don't want it to be, and I honestly will be annoyed if it is with the teaser backstage. I just put that up head, and it's not a good feeling. But anywho, we'll move on. Yeah, great Impact. I've loved King of Kings to Blake Christian.
Yeah, hell of a match.
Scott, sign Blake. Sign him. What are you waiting for?
I 100% agree. We talked about it last week, didn't we? I would love to have seen Blake Christian qualify for Ultimate X, but not at the expense of Kenny King. So yeah, good to see Kenny King go over, retain his spot. I feel bad for Blake Christian because he got no real shot at being on the pay-per-view. But yeah, carry on using him because he's so good. He was good before he went to WWE. Now he did his little stint there. He's back on the Indies. He looks, he's improved his body. He's got better gear, and he's just an all-round better worker. So yeah, if a big company doesn't snap him up soon, there's no justice in the world. Yeah.
And I did see on the TNIW group chat with Jeff saying that Blake Christian gives him, and I quote, "Does Blake Christian give anyone else Mr. Impact Craig vibes?"
What?
I don't know. I'll take it. But I'll definitely take it. But
there's a very, very vague resemblance, but that's like saying, I don't know. I can't even make a comparison. That's like saying I look like Bryan Danielson.
I mean, Blake Christian is dating Cora Jade, so I will 100% take that. I will 100% take that. Yeah, let's go. I feel sorry for Blake Christian. Because I've been told I look like Steve from American Dad. Does that mean he looks like Steve from American Dad?
Yes, yeah, I see that. If you took the beard off, yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got that a lot in school. But yeah, all in all, a great Impact show, like it always is. The TV never really misses. Impact in general don't really miss. Yeah, there's some things you may not enjoy, but there's something for everyone. I enjoyed every bit of it. Nothing that I could fault on it. It's just great. I mean, no real surprises in the match results, but it was still a great show, and can't wait for. I wonder if they're going to announce the next member of the Ultimate X on tomorrow's show, tonight if you're watching it on YouTube.
Now, regarding the final entrant in Ultimate X, I would be fine if they left that up for a surprise.
Yeah, that's fair.
And they brought in someone like Low-Key or Amazing Red.
See, now this goes to references to our final 10, but I wonder what Matt Bentley's up to. I wonder.
You want to see the Bentley bounce?
I mean,
I don't know if he wrestles anymore, honestly.
I know he's still around somewhere, but I don't know if he's wrestling.
They busted him out for the old, the one night only shows.
Yeah, that's
like
about
10 years ago.
10 years ago. Yeah, about 10 years ago. I mean, I don't know if you're aware of this, but he's Shawn Michaels' cousin. I don't know if you're aware of that. They never mentioned it. I just want people to know.
Yeah, Joey Styles used to say about him on MLW, he's the cousin of Michael Shane, the cousin of Shawn Michaels. They might as well have just gone the full hog and call him Shane Michaels.
Might as well have done. But anywho, that was Impact from last week. Now let's take it over to the preview. Only a handful of matches has been announced, like there usually is for Impact, but we go in with what I assume will be the main event of Josh Alexander taking on Joe Doring. Then we have a banging six-man tag with Eddie Edwards and the OGK of Honor No More taking on Kazarian and the Motor City Machine Guns. We also have Steve Macklin versus PCO and Rosemary taking on Tennille Dashwood. Then on BTI we have Johnny Swinger and Zicky Dice, the Swinging Dice Connection, as they'll forever be called by me, taking on Decay of Crazy Steve and Black Taurus. What are your thoughts on tonight's show? Again, looks really, really solid. What's your feelings?
I've got lots of thoughts. Obviously, I'm looking forward to Macklin and PCO. That's without a shadow of a doubt, that would be something I'm really looking forward to. Josh and Joe Doring, bound to be an awesome hoss fight.
Yeah.
Where have Swinger and Ziggy Dice been? They haven't been on TV longer than Chris Bay. And I was really looking forward to seeing where the Swingers Dungeon, where that story went, because that was entertaining stuff.
Yeah,
on TV. So it'd be cool to see them back in the fold against Decay, even though it is on BTI.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be another awesome show. Always is.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Macklin and PCO gonna be a banger.
Yeah, I'm really, really invested in Macklin now, as I have been for a while. But since teaming with Team Impact at whatever special it was, they've all blurred into one now in my mind. That special, then it's been kicking off massively. I'm here for all of it. His exhibition feud with Trey was great, and now it seems like they're pushing him into the world title picture, slowly but surely. He's edging his way to the world title picture. Beat Morrissey on his way out. I think big things are coming for Steve Macklin, and I'm here for all of it. PCO, like a lot of people, Max, weren't too sure about him coming in, but he's proven himself that he still can do what he does best. And if you read his recent interview with What Culture or Russell Talk, it's one or the other, I forget which. His contract runs up in October, but obviously it's an Impact. They could resign him at any point, so we don't know what's going to happen there.
Well, if PCO is finishing up at October, that's when Bound for Glory is. Imagine the craziness, whatever he does at Bound for Glory. What the kind of match he does, the kind of entrance he does. I'll never forget at Madison Square Garden. They did the electric chair with Destro, trying to revive him with the car battery. Fantastic stuff.
It's great. Also, we have Rosemary, and this is to Neil. I think Jeff kind of alluded to it on the Mothership. What's really going on with the women's tag team of Decay with Havoc and Rosemary? Havoc seems to have banished on TV for a bit, but still looks like trying to set up for another Knockouts tag team title match. But Havoc not around. What's really going on there? I don't know. It's difficult to really see.
Yeah. Well, ever since 2 weeks ago when Havoc lost convincingly to Masha Slamovich, there's been, a sort of, I don't know how to describe it. Friction between Rosemary and Havoc, maybe.
Decay looked really, really frustrated with that loss.
Yeah. And I think it's Havoc more disappointed in herself, and Rosemary trying to, rally the troops, but it's not working. I think that's how the storyline is going to, develop over time. And then maybe Havoc leaves, goes on her own path, and then maybe Rosemary can start teaming with Tyre again, or do something else. But then, if Decay split up, you've literally only got one tag team in the Knockouts division.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, mentioned there of Tyre. Funny thing, couple years ago when Impact were doing those online live auction stuff, you can buy 8x10s and they'll be signed live on the Facebook Live. I brought a Rosemary and Tyre 8x10.
Yeah.
And I already knew Tyre was leaving to go to WWE at this point, but I had them sign it at this time of Mr. Impact blog from the future tag team champs. This is just before Hard to Kill, and I want that to become a reality. I'm looking at it right now from the future tag team champs.
I'm down for that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I want that to become a reality. But maybe I was what's the one I'm looking for? I was looking into Jeff's crystal ball there. So maybe soon. But yeah, Impact looks really, really fucking good. Like, so good, and I'm here for absolutely all of it. Alexander and Doran will be great. Eddie and OGK, 3 great talents there. 3, like, there's no. if Bennett became world champion tomorrow, I won't be disappointed because he's great. I really like Bennett, so it's more for that. Kaz, Machine Guns, that's just screams TNA, and I'm here for every bit of it. Back in PCO, we know it's going to be great. And Rosemary Tennille, good. I'll say good. I like Rosemary a lot. Tennille, I like her as a character. But the match should be good.
Yeah.
We know they can go. We know they can both go. So
yeah, absolutely.
But this might be the first time in a few months I tune into BTI though. I haven't watched BTI in a while because I'd say I'm going to stay up and watch BTI, then watch Food to Impact. But it all finishes at 3 a.m, and I'm shattered. So I get up early, but I don't watch BTI because I don't like the. I've already watched it the week before. I don't need to see a recap again.
Yeah, and George Iceman, it's all stuff we already know. So I just don't see the point in his little segment.
Yeah. I mean, all it is in town to follow us and then rumors we've heard.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think I'm going to watch BTI. But I know I'm going to watch the Swinging Dice Connection lose. Which is unfortunate.
You never know.
Okay, I mean, no, but there's that feeling. Like, it's probably going to happen, but I'm going to watch and just watch everything crossed.
You're the authority on tag team predictions, so I think, you're probably right there.
I want to be wrong. I really want to be wrong. But now, I mean, we have a final 10 segment, but I imagine it's going to take longer than 10 minutes. So let's take it to the final 15 minutes. Why not? Final, yeah, and then add 5.
Self high five.
Do you want to go ahead and introduce the segment since it came from your mind?
Yes. So, years ago, myself, James Milky O'Hagan, Fifi, and BBC Radio Norfolk's Rob Butler used to do a podcast called Wrestling for All. And I came up with a segment for it called The Rose Tinted Review. And we would each pick a show each week. So we would do one show per week. And it was the first wrestling show that you remember, or the first show that you had on video, the first show you stayed up and watched live. So we did a few. My first one was In Your House 7. Good Friends, Better Enemies. The main event was Shawn Michaels versus Diesel for the world title. It's the first show I ever had on video. So yeah, fond memories for me. But the Rose Tinted Review is you go back and watch these shows and see if they still hold up however many years later. So it's something that I've wanted to do on this channel for a long time, and I'm glad we're finally getting able to go ahead and do it. So the show that I have chosen for our first Rose Tinted Review is Unbreakable from 2005. Obviously, we're sticking with the Impact Wrestling / TNA theme. And the story behind why I chose Unbreakable is because in August, September 2005, I was in South Africa. I was 18 years old and I was doing a bit of traveling before going off to uni. And we were staying at my friend Paul. He and I were traveling together. We were staying at Paul's, staying with Paul's family in Sun City, where the WWF have done some shows over the years. It's like 1996, Brett wrestled Steve Austin for the first time. So I was just looking through the TV, and I noticed that this certain sports channel was showing Unbreakable. And since South Africa are I think they're 1 hour ahead of us. So it came on at 2 a.m. till 5 a.m. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to stay up and watch this. I looked at the card, and the card was stacked. And there were so many matches that I thought, yeah, I am down for that. So, I stayed up and watched it and was not disappointed. As you'll probably know if you're TNA fans, it featured the match that is widely regarded as the best match in TNA history. And I was privileged to be able to watch that live in South Africa. So shall we go ahead and run down the card and see if it lives up to how I remember it so fondly?
Yeah, so I'll run down the complete card, and then we'll just jump right into what we like to buy, favorite matches, etc., favorite moments.
Let's talk about it match by match. So let's say a match and then talk about it.
All right, we'll get that's cool. So we started off with the Diamonds in the Rough, David Young, Elite Skipper, and Simon Diamond taking on not one, not two, but the 3 live crew of Conan, BG James, and R-Truth Ron Killings. I mean, first of all, Elite Skipper. What a talent. But then you have the 3 live crew. Like, it's just so much in there. If it's gone, have at this match, because I mean, where do you even begin?
I thought there was a really fun short opener. It got the crowd up, set the pace for the rest of the show. People were into 3LK in 2005. I want to talk about the Impact Zone, because this is the glory days of the Impact Zone. Soundstage 21, Universal Studios in Orlando. The crowd was so hot throughout this show, and the product wasn't even on TV at the time. This was the transition period between Fox Sports Net and Spike TV. So Impact would air on the internet every week. So I don't know the viewership numbers, but they couldn't have been all that. And, the fact that the people, however many, 900 people in the Impact Zone, were so hot for this product. It goes to show that the product was hot. Wrestling was hot in 2005. So that really blew me away. The opening package to introduce the pay-per-view was awesome.
So good.
It's something that I think Impact have always done really well ever since they brought in David Sahadi. I think they do it certainly better than AEW, and I think they even do it better than WWE. The pay-per-view intros, I think they're so awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the first match.
Yeah. Great match. I mean, Diamonds in the Rough were an interesting faction there. In general. I mean, Elite Skipper was really the only standout at that point, and by then he'd already done the cage walk.
Yeah, that was a year previous.
But primetime Elite Skipper was insanely good and does not get enough love for how good he really was.
Absolutely. I feel for primetime. I think he must have been on some performance enhancing substance, because he dropped a load of muscle really suddenly, because he was so jacked when he did that cage walk, and then a year later he's not the same person. It feels like he's still a great wrestler, throughout his career, but he just didn't even look like the same guy.
I've seen Elite Skipper. I've seen all the stuff you need to see for Elite Skipper, but unfortunately, there's not a lot. When you think, you need to check this out, there's only a handful of things you need to check out for Elite Skipper, and the cage walk is a big thing. It's the one that gets replayed every time Impact want to overhype something or really hype up something. It's a cage walk.
Yeah.
But such a good wrestler and should have had more runs as an X Division champion. Should have
had a run as X Division champion.
Way one. No, I was thinking of Sonny Siaki. No. So damn, yeah. But no, it was a short match, but a good match, and 3LK were great. I know it wasn't the best time for BG James, but like 3LK was great.
Yeah, and
it really worked with the charisma they have between those three. So much charisma and talent as well.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Killings, even now, is super athletic and can really go. They all can, and they're all great. Obviously, Truth and Conan more as singles wrestlers, but tag team singles, they're all great. So it was cool, great match to start off with. Then we went to Austin Aries, who defeated Roderick Strong in 2005 in TNA. I mean, just wow. The crowd, wow. Like I said, the crowd were so into it. And Mike Tenay, legend, as well as Don West, made the point that the TNA fans asked to see more of these two. They asked to see more of them, and TNA delivered. And he mentioned as well that they were both in a faction of Ring of Honor at the time.
Yeah.
But who would have guessed that from there, Austin Aries would go on to do what he did in Impact TNA? Obviously, from the high from option C to the world title, to then obviously the way he went out after Bound for Glory. But it's even Roderick Strong, like no one would have guessed at that point that he'd go on to be part of one of the biggest factions in NXT history. So it was such a good match as well. Both were just about to hit their prime.
Yeah.
But it's such a good match. Because for a lot of these people on this card, they hadn't quite hit their prime, but they were on the verge of hitting it.
Exactly. I think Aries and Strong have worked each other a few times over the years, or in singles, tags, whatever. So they basically took all of their greatest hits and confined them to this 6 or 7 minute match, and the crowd was so into it. You know, like you said, basically before the Sacrifice pay-per-view, which was the pay-per-view before this, TNA put on their website a vote. Who do you want to see from Ring of Honor to wrestle Christopher Daniels at Sacrifice? And it was Austin Aries, Roderick Strong, Jay Lethal, and Matt Sydal. And Aries won the vote. So Aries wrestled Christopher Daniels. They had a really good match. And then, randomly they announced for Unbreakable, Austin Aries versus Roderick Strong, X Division Showcase. And it did wonders for both of them. They both stuck around. They started this faction with Alex Shelley, which is like a reformation of Generation Next in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
You know, it was cool at that time to see TNA and Ring of Honor rebuilding their working relationship after the stuff with Rob Feinstein happened in 2004. If you don't know about it, look it up. I don't have time to tell you about what happened there. So nearly 2 years down the line to see TNA and Ring of Honor working together again, talent exchanges, and that was really, really cool as a wrestling fan.
Yeah, it's great. Then we went on to tag team action. Two teams, I mean, two very unique teams in Kip James and Monty Brown, who defeated the team of Apollo and Lance Hoyt. It was originally supposed to be Apollo and Sonny Siaki, but Kip James and Monty Brown took out Sonny Siaki and came out with a neck brace. It was replaced by Lance Hoyt, who was so over. And this is before he really figured out what he was about and he was as a performer. It's completely different to Lance Archer, as we see him today. Lance Hoyt was over. They even saw Hoytomania t-shirts in the crowd. Like, I mean, but the team of Kip James and Monty Brown, we said it about Elliot Skipper, but Monty Brown should have been world champion. Everyone says it, everyone knows it, but wasn't. Took TNA a long time to pull the trigger, and when they finally said they're going to, off he pops to WWE, ECW.
Yeah. Yeah, poor old Monty Brown. I feel so bad for him. You know, he bet on himself. I'm sure it would have worked out in WWE eventually, but then he had a family situation, and he left WWE, and I don't think he ever came back to wrestling. It would be very, very cool to see him pop up again at Slammiversary. I know a lot of people have asked for it, so that would be. I mean, he probably wouldn't wrestle, but just to see him make an appearance would be fantastic. And you know, he'd get a huge pop in Nashville.
Yeah. And surely he could pounce someone. Surely.
Yeah.
One more time.
Exactly. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
This match was fine. You know, we're going back and looking at this pay-per-view through the rose-tinted glasses. You know, the 3LK Diamonds in the Rough match was fine. You know, looking back on it after 17 years. The Strong and Impact, Dynamite, whatever you want, and it's a great match. This was what it was. It was fine. You know, it didn't blow me away in 2005. It didn't blow me away in 2022 either.
Nah, it was a decent tag match, and I think, yeah, I mean, Apollo seems to disappear as well. Like he got kind of treated as kind of a big deal in the first place by Impact.
Yeah,
but it never really took off, which was it didn't happen. But
he had zero charisma, and then I never quite forgave him for nearly killing Scott Steiner.
Well, there is that. Then we moved on to extras in action. Chris Sabin, who defeated Peter Williams, but was originally supposed to be Chris Sabin versus
1000% Guapo, shocker.
There we go. But Chris Sabin and Peter Williams, what's not to like?
They would have had they had a better match than Sabin versus Shocker would have been.
Absolutely, and Sabin winning because Team Canada, spoiler alert, only picked up one win on this card. They had 3 matches, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and then we saw Matt Bentley come back, didn't we?
Yes, Matt Bentley.
And they set up for the Ultimate X at Bound for Glory.
The first Bound for Glory as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's cool. Then we went to a no DQ match between Abyss and Sabu. Again, there's not much more you could expect from those two. They delivered on what the match was meant to do.
Yeah.
Great.
I loved the Abyss Sabu saga.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they had 3 pay-per-view matches that year. You know, singles matches.
Yeah.
I think that they did Unbreakable, when they did Genesis, and then Turning Point. And they also wrestled in the Monsters Ball at Bound for Glory. Yeah. And obviously Turning Point was Barbed Wire Massacre. So it was cool to see the first pay-per-view match, you know, back at Unbreakable. Yeah, exactly what you expect. Tables, thumbtacks, you know, Sabu doing crazy dives and all that. I loved it.
Yeah. Exactly. It did what it needed to do, and it did it very well. Like only those two can.
Exactly. I love Sabu. I know he's a point of hilarity at times through all the botches, but the stuff he did, you know, throughout, considering how long his career has been, It's such an innovator and such a, what's the word I want? Portfolio of crazy matches. I've got a lot of respect for Sabu.
Yeah, and for someone who puts his body through the stuff he puts his body through,
Exactly.
Hasn't really aged terribly.
Not really.
Just exactly the same.
Mm.
Also, you put picture in picture, you can see where he has aged over time, obviously, but it's not noticeable when you see him. It's just in a random match somewhere, like even today.
Yeah.
Like, so, very good. Then we had, I mean, Bobby Roode versus Jeff Hardy. If you'd have told those two that in 10 years later, they'd be facing each other for the World Championship, and Bobby Roode would be going in as the longest reigning World Heavyweight Champion in the company's history, that would last till this day. I don't think anyone believed it back then. They wouldn't have believed it back then. But all in all, a great match, from my perspective, with the interference by Petey Williams, which then led to the interference of Jeff Jarrett. It did Bobby Roode picking up the victory.
Yeah, bit of a transition period for Jeff Hardy because he'd just come back from suspension. I think he missed Hard Justice. I can't remember the specifics. But yeah, he was suspended. He came back and rightly so, he put Bobby Roode over. I know there was a bit of a dog and pony show with A1 interfering and I think Eric Young and then Jeff Jarrett. But the match was fine, did what it needed to do, got Bobby over big. And then Jeff didn't really lose any steam because he still came out during the Raven Rhino match to face off with Jarrett. And then he went into the Bound for Glory Monsters Ball match. So yeah, I thought this was a good showcase, certainly for Bobby Roode. Yeah,
agreed. And it didn't hurt Jeff Hardy at that point. He's still one of the hottest people in wrestling, and then to only become bigger as the years went by. So all for it. Then we moved on to the NWA World Tag Team Championships with the Naturals of Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens with Jimmy Hart defending their tag team titles in a 4-way elimination tag match with Team Canada, Eric Young, and A1. And what was supposed to be Alex Shelley and Six Pack as the Candido Cup winners versus AMW American Most Wanted of James Storm and the Wildcat Chris Harris, who Chris Harris was ripped.
Yeah, wasn't he?
But and we also had the Candido family at ringside with Johnny Candido jumping in to try and help Alex Shelley in the tag match, and the first one eliminated, followed by AMW, followed by Team Canada with Naturals retaining their World Tag Team Championships. Great match. The Naturals were three great tag teams in that.
Yeah,
the best TNA tag teams in history.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say Eric Young and A1 specifically are a great tag team, but the faction of Team Canada, one of the most significant factions, certainly. I was so embarrassed at the time that Sean Waltman no-showed this show. I don't know. Again, I can't remember the specifics of why Sean Waltman wasn't there, but the fact that Shelley and Waltman, I was so excited for them as a team, and to see them win the Candido Cup, it was just a perfect combination for me. I loved Chris Candido. I still take a lot of his stuff these days. Especially when I was a villain when I first started. I drew a lot of inspiration from Chris Candido. So I was really, really gutted when he unfortunately passed away. So to see the Chris Candido Memorial Cup play out on TV was really cool for me. So I was just so disappointed that Sean Waltman wasn't at this show, and the whole Johnny Candido thing when he jumped in and got pinned straight away. I just thought, this is gross. Candido deserved better.
Yeah, I have to agree on that. See, hindsight 2020 and all that. The match was still good, and with the Naturals winning, I felt that helped a little bit, given the influence and help Candido gave to the Naturals.
Yeah.
So it's swings and roundabouts. It shouldn't have gone down that way. Waltman, it's Sean Waltman. It's not the first time. Probably won't be the last time.
Mm.
So, all in all, decent match for tag titles. Jimmy Hart on the outside, great. Then we went on to the NWA World Championship with Raven walking as champion and defeating Rhino to leave as champion, but with, of course, outside interference. Again, great match. Raven's rules. Raven and Rhino, great. It was what it was.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I felt like they tried to recreate their classic hardcore championship match from Backlash 2001, which they didn't quite do, because I don't know if you've seen their match from Backlash 01.
I've seen it.
Go back and watch it. It's lightning in a bottle. No one expected to go to watch Backlash 2001 and think Raven versus Rhino would be the best match on the show, but they had a hell of a match, and it was so surprising. The crowd got really into it. There were some awesome spots, and it's probably easily one of the best hardcore title matches in WWF history.
Wow.
Yeah, this is your homework for this week, Craig. Raven versus
check that out.
Backlash 01.
But yeah, great match.
Yeah. I thought it was a really good match. Didn't quite recreate that magic of 01, but still, but kind of different in its own way, but similar as well. I loved Raven as world champion. I know we didn't get a long run, and again, it was the transition period between Fox Sports and Spike, but it was still very cool to see Raven as the NWA world champion. I know it was something that meant a lot to him as well. So
cool.
Enjoyed the match. Really cool. Lots of great use of weapons, and bit of a dog and pony show at the end with Jarrett and Jeff Hardy. So yeah, I did enjoy it. I know Raven wasn't happy about the world title not going on last.
Yeah.
But he spoke about this publicly, and he said, yeah, I wasn't happy that the X Division title got put on ahead of us. So they got bumped from the main event spot. But then he saw the main event and thought, yeah, that was the right decision.
Yeah, let's get into that, because if not the greatest TNA match, certainly arguably one of the greatest triple threat matches. Because, I mean, AJ Styles defeats Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe to win the X Division Championship for a fifth time. Obviously, this match gets a lot of mainstream attention. But see, obviously, it's the first, one and only 5-star match from Meltzer. Do you think that's the reason it gets mainstream media attention? Do you think without that, it doesn't get as much attention as it deserves?
Yeah, I 100% believe that. It's widely regarded as the best TNA match in history. And a lot of that is because it's the only TNA match in history to get 5 stars in the Observer. There's matches that have come close, 4 3/4, but they've always got AJ Styles or Samoa Joe in them. This match, it lives in its own sort of time vacuum. It'll never not be great.
No,
it's as close to a perfect triple threat match as you're gonna get.
Yes, so many great spots in it. So many spots that gets replayed over and over again.
Oh yeah, that the springboard shooting star to the floor from AJ was in the opening package for years.
Yeah, Joe's spinning suicide dive to the outside, rolling through a suicide dive. I guess we played Daniels' moonsault. So much of it, and rightly so. Great main event. That's why the X Division put TNA on the map. 3 of the very, very best, regardless of weight class that was then. That was a big part in making TNA what it was. Without it, who knows how much attention TNA would have got.
Exactly. X Division set TNA apart, from every other wrestling company, and it was the right decision to put these guys in the main event. Absolutely.
Completely. So on that, does the show still hold up in your eyes after 10 to 13 years gone by?
100% it holds up. Yeah, totally. There's only there's 3 matches on there that that you could take them or leave them, really. It's the opener, the tag match with Kip James and Monty Brown, and the 4-way tag, which, like I've already said, I was embarrassed about the Candido situation with Sean Waltman. But every other match, absolutely fantastic and holds up to this day. I think you could definitely put it in the argument of top 10 TNA/Impact pay-per-views of all time, maybe even top 5.
Hands up. Yep, on board with that completely. So with that, I guess we'll wrap it up when this has been a podcast. But you can go check out everything we've done. Max and Jeff every Sunday night. You can go check out Power Rankings every Tuesday now, I believe. LOL TNA, new series coming very soon. Go check out everything we do. TBN chats. Anyone you want to see, just give us a shout. We want them on the show. If you want them on the show, let's go. Let's get this sorted. Of course, Frank for your art as well. Thank you for the theme. Great theme as always. It's now on my phone, so. But yeah, you can go do the whole thing. Until next time, I've been there, MIC. It's been Nixon. I'll continue to be Nixon. Goodbye, my friends.
Ooh.